Hey, Crosspoint students, my name is Ryan and I'm the student pastor over at the Bellevue location. I'm so glad to be starting off tonight's series, Party Starter. But before we get to that, I have a quick thing that I would love to talk about, and that is what I love about this season. And this season is springtime, which means that lake days and warm days are ahead of us. What exactly comes with the lake day though? A good party, of course. I remember one year in college over the summer, I was working at a boat marina with a few of my other close friends. And over the 4th of July weekend, we decided to invite all of our other college buddies over on the water. It was absolutely amazing, incredible time. We went out on the boat all day, rode jet skis, got flung off the tube over and over. But I remember one specific thing about that weekend. One of our friends, Will, that we had invited, was just one of those freak athletes with anything that he did. And on the boat, we would just come up with literally any trick on the wakeboard that he could do, and he would automatically do it. Without fail, it just looked like the easiest thing ever. So I said, all right, if you can actually do a double backflip, I'll do the exact same trick, thinking there's no shot he lands this because he didn't do this as an actual part-time or make money off of it. He wasn't a pro. And so we get going on the boat and he's getting pulled behind us. And so the first wave comes up and literally on his first attempt, he lands the double backflip. I kid you not. The boat is going nuts. They're losing their minds. They're so excited. And it wasn't about the fact that he landed the double backflip. It was about the fact that I had to go next. Now, I have to preface that I'm a solid wakeboarder, but I've never even landed just a regular backflip in my life. So this was just a horrible idea overall. So I get in the water, I'm all strapped up, just being so mad at myself that I even made this bet in the first place. And I was so nervous about what was going to happen. So this boat starts to go, the first wave comes up, and I know that in the back of my mind, I cannot think about it. I just gotta send it. I have to send it. And as you probably know, I didn't land it. It didn't go well for me. I got the first rotation down, and come the second rotation, my board hits first, then my stomach, and then my neck completely just snaps backwards. And when you're in this situation, there's nothing left to do than just sit there face down in the water and think about how you ended up in the situation that you ended up in. Regardless of the neck and brain damage that I had, it was still the absolute best weekend ever. And those memories are something that me and my closest friends still talk about to this day. But why am I telling you about this party and being at the lake? Well, because over the next few weeks in the course of the summer season, we're going to talk about what it means to not just throw a party, but actually start a party as well. Before we go any further, let's define what we mean by party. Think of it like this. A party is any effort to celebrate, serve, or enjoy being with others in a way that adds value to life. So, a party starter is anyone who prepares the space for the party or who makes space for others to join in on the party. So, while we absolutely should party and have fun with our friends in that way, what we're talking about tonight is more than that. It's the idea that as followers of Jesus, we're invited to a life that feels joyful, fun, and full of hope. In following Jesus, there isn't a promise that all your life is just going to be perfect all the time. But what he does promise is that he would show us how to live life and have life to the full. And even better than that, we're given a chance to invite other people to the same kind of life. We're called to be party starters and invite others in. And look, I get it. You may be sitting there like, bro, of course anyone would want to be invited to go to the lake for the weekend with your best friends. You can't relate it to inviting others to follow Jesus. And honestly, that right there might be the problem with how we view our relationship with Jesus. Why don't we view our relationship with Jesus as something that's fun and as amazing weekend as our night with our friends? Why is one weekend viewed higher and more exciting than a lifetime full of happiness and fullness? And I think it's because so many people think that being a Christian is just about following a set of rules, right? Like from the outside, it could look like it's just tons of stuff that you have to do and even more stuff that you're not supposed to do. And honestly, no, that does not sound like a party at all. There's not a lot about faith that sounds fun on paper. And isn't a party supposed to be, well, fun? Like imagine one of your friends going up to you and saying, hey man, there's this really cool party I'm having and I don't think many people will show up. There's no foods, no games, nothing to do, but it'll be dope regardless. Like, no one wants to go to that. That sounds horrible. And sometimes this can feel true about our faith as well, as especially when life gets hard. When our circumstances get tough, when we experience real pain and struggle, when we feel alone or have lost someone, when we can't find a reason to be excited about life, and even when God feels far away or distant. Nothing about that feels like a party. So what do we do? If as followers of Jesus, we have the power to be the party, how do we do that when life and even faith don't always feel like the kind of party even we want to be a part of? Well, the good news here is that we don't have to guess what Jesus would say in this situation. We have his real words written down by people who really knew him while he was here on earth. And one of those people was named John. And John followed Jesus closely and one of his best friends. And in the book of John, which is one of the first 4 books in the New Testament, we have a look at something Jesus said about the kind of life he wants for us. Let's go ahead and take a look. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." So for context here, Jesus at the time had just healed a blind man who could now begin to see. But this man was so happy and so ecstatic that he couldn't help but tell every person that he knew. Once the Pharisees, or the religious leaders, had heard of all these miracles being performed, they had to see for themselves and question the man who had healed all these people. Once they found out that this man was Jesus, who claimed to be the Son of God, they were furious and demanded answers. Now put yourself in the shoes of that man who was just healed. Have you ever been in this position where you feel like you just received the best news or gotten accepted into the college that you've always wanted to go to, or maybe received a gift that you've always wanted, just to be torn down by your friends or family? Being in that situation, honestly, it takes all of the wind out of your sails and it kills your whole mood of something that you truly should be happy and excited about. That's when Jesus comes in and he understands what and where we're feeling. It can feel like all the joy and fun and good things in life have been stolen or killed or destroyed. And sure, that may sound a little dramatic to talk about something that you had just won or a life event. But if you've ever been there before, if you've been through a really tough time in your life, you know exactly what this feels like. That's because there is an enemy. There's a thief who doesn't want us to experience the life that Jesus has come to give us, and who doesn't want us to be party starters and calls us who Jesus calls us to be. Thankfully, Jesus didn't end the sentence there. Instead, Jesus kept talking. Look back one more time at what he said next. "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." That thief wants our lives to be filled with anything but joy and goodness. But Jesus is here saying, that's not me. That is not what I'm about. Jesus didn't come to this earth just to give us more rules and restrictions and a list of things that hold us back. No, Jesus came to give us life. Not just any life, but a full, amazing, incredible life. The kind of life that feels like a party. So no, it's not just one weekend with your best friends or the night at a great party, but it's a lifetime, because that's what life following Jesus should be. A life filled with the pursuit of joy and real connection with others. Think of this verse as an invitation. It's like Jesus is not only saying that he's the only way to have true and full life, but he's asking, do you want to be a part of that? Do you want to have life and life to the full? That's exactly what you'll get if you choose to follow me. And when we choose to follow Jesus, we're choosing to say yes to believing that his promise of a full life is possible, no matter what comes our way. It's choosing to believe that life with Jesus is an invitation to the best party we can possibly imagine. And because this is true, when we choose to follow Jesus, we choose to take on responsibility of bringing that party to the world around us. See, because of Jesus, you have what it takes to be a party starter. You have the promise of a full life, and with it, you have the chance to let the full, amazing, good life spread to those around you. So, what do we do now? Well, we look for ways to get the party started. And a party starts with an invitation. Really, really quickly, I want you guys to think about one thing. Think about how you guys got here. How did you get to Crosspoint Students, or how did you get to church in general? That invitation was extended to you, allowed you to see and experience God and all that He has for you. Not only did you accept that invite, but you accepted the best decision that you guys could have ever made, and that's to follow Jesus. Why would you not want to experience that and have that be shown for your friends as well? What we say here at Crosspoint Students is that we exist for you and your families to find and follow Jesus. But what we can't do is we can't do this on our own. We need you guys as students to be inviters to your friends and to their families as well. That weekend on the lake would not have been nearly as fun and as exciting if we had just done it with the three of us, and if we hadn't invited others to partake in all the fun and excitement that we had as well. And I'm not saying that you guys need to go to school and just run around your school and invite every single person that you guys see. And although that would be great, but you guys don't have to do that right off the bat. It can be something as simple as inviting someone to hang out at your lunch table or sit next to you in class and just build relationship. And so this invitation is now given to you. An invitation for you to be a party starter, someone who brings life everywhere you go. How will you act with the amazing news that Jesus gives us life and life to the full? Will you be like the Pharisees and be a thief? Or will you be like the man whose life was truly changed forever? Because if you are sitting here and if you have accepted Christ into your life, you have that life-changing news. And no, we don't have that physical life change, but we have life change that changes the soul that has been saved forever. So why would you not want to invite others into that and be a part of that party as well? We have the chance to be party starters. And so you and I have no idea what it could mean to the people around us to get an invitation to the amazing good life that Jesus has to offer others. We don't know what's going on in their hearts and minds. We sometimes wonder if the invitation would just be imposing or offensive to somebody. But maybe an invitation to a party offers hope that they've been desperately seeking. We have what it takes to be a party starter. This summer, we're going to be talking a lot about what it means to live that full life Jesus offers us. We're going to dive into what we can do to be the party starters Jesus calls us to be. But as we close this week, I want to ask you guys a few questions. Where do you need to change your mind about God? Maybe when it comes to inviting others, you feel like you can't even invite someone into something that you don't feel for yourself. And if you yourself are struggling a little bit, and maybe you've thought as God as someone who's absent or boring or uncaring, but maybe you haven't really thought much about God at all. And remember, Jesus came to give us life. We can look to Jesus to help us change our minds about God. And the second question is, how can I take a step towards starting the party? Well, remember, you have what it takes to start a party. So look at what steps you have to take to celebrate, serve, or enjoy being with others in a way that adds value to life. And maybe it's something simple as talking with your small group tonight about what it means to be a party starter. And actually, your small group is the great place to start that. And you guys can work together to actually begin to start that party. Whatever this may look like for you, I hope you'll take a step this week toward full life that Jesus has to offer us. And I hope you'll take a step towards starting the party. Let me pray for you guys. God, we thank you so much just for all that you do in and through our lives, Lord. Lord, would you help us to first slow down and just be so grateful for all that you have done in our lives, God. And remind us, Lord, what it looks like to be grateful as the blind man who can now see. Lord, would you turn our hearts away from being thieves of joy and good news? And secondly, Lord, would you allow us to just become the party starters, Lord? Would we be so excited about the good news that you have to offer others that we begin people who invite others into the good news that you have for them as well? Lord, I pray for the small groups. I pray, Lord, that they begin to talk about what it looks like to invite others in to what's going on here at Crosspoint Students. We love you. It's your name we pray. Amen. We'll see you next week, students.